We are doing science. So, how can we see sound?
No.
Who can tell me what it causes sound? We talked about it yesterday. We're going to do a little review. Jack.
Vibration.
Yes. We can't see the vibrations, but can we feel the vibrations when something is making a sound? Yes, we can. We can feel it. Sometimes it tickles, but we can feel a vibration. So, and we talked about different instruments, how you can pluck it or rub it or hit it or blow in it to make a sound. And the vocal cords on page 109, the sounds of your voice are also caused by vibrations when you speak or sing. The air you breathe out makes your vocal cords vibrate. So on page 109 shows you your vocal cords. So place your finger on the front of your neck and now hum. Can you feel a vibration?
Yeah.
Those are your vocal cords vibrating. So that is what you can, that's kind of fun. So the larynx is this right here, and then the vocal cords sit behind there. You can really feel it when you talk. When I'm talking, I can really feel the vibrations more so than when I hum. I can feel it, but if you talk, you guys can just start talking, whatever you want to say. Listen, feel your vocal cords. Hello, hello, hello. Or you can sing something. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. So can you feel the vibrations?
Yes.
Who thinks you can feel the vibrations more when you talk? Who thinks you can feel the vibrations more when you hum? All right, so it just depends on. So it's in Psalm 150 tells us that sound can be used to worship. What does it mean to worship? Olivia. Not to learn. What does worship mean? When we worship. Grayson. Not help. Jonathan.
Praise.
Praise. Yes, glorify, exalt. So what are ways that you can worship God by using our vocal cords? Christian.
You could read the Bible and that's how you.
We can read the Bible, like read it out loud to somebody? Yep. Because if we're not using our vocal cords if we're doing this. If I'm just reading to myself quietly, I'm not using my vocal cords. But if we read it out loud to somebody, then we are using our vocal cords, and that is worshiping God. How else can we use our vocal cords to worship God, Cole?
You can pray.
You can what?
Pray.
Pray. Now, would you have to pray out loud, or would you have to pray to yourself?
Pray out loud.
Yes. Because that way we are using our vocal cords. Ella
You could sing a Christian song.
could sing. Singing is a huge way we worship. Or what's another? We talked about yesterday, we talked about different instruments. How else can we worship God? By using instruments. Jack.
Playing songs.
Playing songs. Yes. God gave us the ability to do that in hopes that we glorify Him. So, those are different ways we can worship God by using our vocal cords and using it to praise God. So, let's turn to page 110 and 111, and then I have some different things I want to show you. So we talked about vibrations. Now we have sound waves. And on page 110, on the bottom, we see a little picture. Now, it's an ice cream truck. Who has ever seen an ice cream truck? Well, a lot of you. So what does an ice cream truck do when it drives down the street so you know it's coming? Does it honk its horn? What does it do? It does something in specifically. Jeremiah.
It plays music.
It does. It's so exciting. I love ice cream trucks. So you can see on the bottom of page 110, this truck has all of these waves, so to speak, coming from it. And then what are those little things next to the little waves? They're musical what? Quinchine? Notes. So by looking at that picture, what do you think it is portraying, showing? Jonathan?
It's like making sound.
Yes. It's showing you how sound waves travel. No, so the truck is moving down the street in one direction, but the sound waves, as you can see, are moving in all different directions, aren't they? They're not just going in one direction. So what do you think that does? The sound waves are traveling in all different directions. Why? Christian.
So the people know there's an ice cream truck and the wind is traveling in it, and that's how people has ears. So if you're deaf, like if somebody if you see somebody go out and you see an ice cream truck, that's you have your window open, that's how you can feel the vibration if you touch the truck.
Okay. Well, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about vibrations and sound waves. But if I got you correctly, the sound waves is how we hear the music of the truck, correct? So, this picture, we've got people here, we've got people here, we've got people over here, we've got people up here, and they're all running, or they see and hear the sound waves. Are they all in the same place?
No.
No. We've got them all over the place. The sound waves, as you can see on your picture, are traveling forward, sideways, backwards. Sound waves travel all over the place, so it is heard by many people. What would happen if the sound waves went one direction? M. Correct. If you throw a stone in the water, it causes a ripple effect. And the ripples, do they just go one direction? No, they go all around the rock, don't they? And they go down or they go out. So if you can envision that, the rippling of the rocks, it's the same thing as the sound of the sound waves. They go out so the truck is here, that's the source. Like the rock is the source. And then the sound waves just go all around the truck. So then if we're standing in front of the truck, we can hear it. If we're standing to the right or the left or behind the truck, you can still hear it. So sound waves travel. A vibration causes sound waves. You cannot see the sound waves, but they act somewhat like waves in the pond. I'm reading out of page 110. So just like I was talking about, because sound waves travel in all directions, the source, which is the truck in this picture, does not need to be facing you to hear the sound. So, does sound travel the same with all matter? So we have on page 110, we have air, water, wood, and iron. Do you think they sound the same when a sound wave hits one of these parts of matter?
No.
So, let's read 111. Sounds that travel through the air may also travel through other forms of matter. You can sit in a room with the doors and windows closed, but you still might hear sounds from outside or from the next room. Can we hear things from the next room?
Yes.
Can we hear kids screaming outside?
Yes. Of course.
Sometimes more than we want, but we can hear that. The sounds travel through the air, and even through the solid wall door or window. Sound waves travel at different speeds through solids, liquids, and gases. Sound waves travel faster through liquids than through gases like air. They travel the fastest through solids. Now, I'm going to use the water as an example. You're just going to have to take my word for it because it's something that I've experienced, and I can't experience it with you because, well, we just can't. But when I go scuba diving, sound travels a lot further when I am under the water. I think I told you once when I was scuba diving, I heard whales singing, and they were hundreds of miles away. So that is how far sound travels in the water. And it says right here that water, that it travels faster through liquids, which is what? Water. So that is very interesting. When we got to the surface, our dive master told us that they were hundreds of miles away, and we could hear them as clear as can be. So, I have a what?
Hammer.
Now, if I hammer the air, are we hearing anything?
No.
No. Now, if I hammer the water bottle, here's some sound, a little muted. We have a little battle of the sounds going on here. This is plastic piping. You can see through it. I can see it all. Now, do you think this is going to be louder than the water?
Yes.
Let's find out. Now, what did it say? If you look at your little graph on page 111, so we don't have plastic, but it's probably going to be equivalent to wood and iron. Let's find out. So you think you're going to hear it's going to be louder than the water?
Yes.
Let's find out. I would definitely say it is louder than the water. Did you hear a little vibration? You can also hear a bit of a vibration. Oh, that was fun. We get different sounds from the middle. You hear the different sounds? All right. Wood. Now, wood is one of the examples on page 111. The hammer is hitting the wood. How do you think the wood is going to compare to the plastic piping?
Louder.
You think it's going to? Who thinks it's going to be louder than the plastic? All right, let's find out. So I'm going to do the plastic one more time, just for comparing. So, would you say the frequency is lower or higher in the wood? Kind of very similar. Which one is higher? Which has a higher frequency? Jack.
The pipe because it's not heavier than the wood. That's weird.
Very close. Olivia.
The pipe because it's hollow and it has more room to make noise.
So that makes the noise, it makes it higher or lower? The wood is denser. This is solid. The solid piece of wood, this is hollow. Very good. So the vibrations are much different with the plastic piping that's hollow versus the wood which is dense. All right, so do you hear the difference with that? Now, the water is much more muted, right? So is this a water bottle? Is it dense due to the volume of it?
Yeah.
Is the volume full in this?
Yes.
It is. All right, now, also on page 111 is iron. This is a solid piece of iron. It's very heavy.
The chisel. Oh. The others.
Do you hear the vibration? Now listen real close. You hear it, Carrie? You can almost hear the echo. So much different. So this sounds very, very muted, whereas this has like a tinging, echoing sound. So why do you think that is? We're going to learn about reflecting and absorbing tomorrow. But this sound, the water bottle, is a sound that is absorbed. What does absorb mean? If the sound is absorbed. Cole.
It's being taken and being stopped.
Right. It doesn't travel out. Whereas the sound reflects and goes out. The sound is absorbed and does not echo out. There's no vibrations coming from the water because the water is what? Absorbing it. The sound waves cannot travel through the solid water. Whereas the iron, it is solid, but iron has a more reflective sound. Sound waves, you can hear it. So, why are our ears hearing this? What's happening? When I hit the iron, what is happening, friends? We were just talking about it. So, we are listening to what? M. Well, the vibration. So, the vibration hits, and then what happens? What's going out? Listen. You can hear it if you listen. The vibrations are causing what to go out into the room? Jeremiah. Sound what?
Wait.
Yes. Sound waves. You can hear the waves. So, there is sound waves in this. But this is solid wood and it absorbs it more. The iron is not a good absorbing factor because it's iron and there's no absorption because it's solid. This is solid wood, but wood absorbs the sound more, as does the water. These absorb. This somewhat absorbs, but you can still hear more of the sound wave with this. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yes, Jonathan?
Why do they absorb?
Because it's a denser matter. If it's dense, it's going to absorb. If you look on page 112 and 113, this is a great example of reflecting and absorbing. On page 112 there is looks like the Grand Canyon. And on page 113, we have a hotel room with lots of nice cushy pillows and fabric on the walls, heavy curtains, pillows everywhere. What picture, the canyon or the nice, soft, fluffy pillows and a nice, comfy hotel room is going to absorb the sound? Jack.
The cannon.
M. Yes, why? What does the pillows and the comforter and the curtains, they're all nice and soft matter. Meaning if you go and you jump or hit that pillow, is it going to make a sound? No, it absorbs the sound, much like this. If you hit a pillow, yes?
They go to the bathroom.
Yes. If you hit a pillow, you are going to have an absorption. Okay, I'm sorry, Santa. If I hit Santa, he's soft and squishy. He has lots of, I'm sorry, I'll be very nice. But he's very soft and squishy, like a pillow. Does he make any sound?
No.
The sound is absorbed because of I did it very softly, Santa. Because of all of the nice, cushy, soft material. Now the Grand Canyon is made out of rocks. So it's going to reflect the sound like this. Or is it going to absorb the sound like Santa? Jack.
Absorb the iron.
Reflect. So who has ever been to a canyon or mountain or someplace where you yelled and you heard an echo, 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 echo? That's reflecting. The sound waves are reflecting off the hard surface. Reflecting off the hard surface. Sorry, Santa. Absorbing. No sound.
Unless if you hit it on the hard part of it.
No.
On the bottom.
A little bit on the side, but I don't want to hit it hard. So absorb. Reflect. You see the difference?
Yeah.
The sound waves hit the iron and it reflects off of that and goes out. Santa is soft. There's no reflecting sound. It absorbs within Santa. It just stays in the material, like the water bottle. There's really pretty absorbed. The only thing you're hearing is the sound of the plastic. All right? Do you understand between the reflecting and absorbing sound waves?
Yes.
I think it's super duper fun when you go someplace where you can hear your echo. So the next time you go somewhere where you can hear an echo, you are hearing sound waves reflect. The sound waves are just going out. They bounce off the hard surface of the rocks and they reflect out into it where we can hear it. You can't hear absorbed sound. There's no sound. So if you go home and you take a pillow and you hit the pillow, you really aren't going to get any reflected sound because it's absorbed into the pillow. And places like hotel rooms, they make materials, they put cloth material, padding, all kinds of soft materials to absorb the sound so the room isn't so loud. You go into a room, see, these walls are good for absorbing sound because they're made out of a material that isn't really hard. Now, if our walls were made out of wood and our floors were made out of wood and the ceiling was made out of a hard surface, this room would be so loud. So there are reasons why you go into some rooms and there's soft materials on the walls, or they might have big tapestries on the walls, pillows, things to absorb the sound. It makes the room quieter. When you have a lot of hard surfaces, like the rocks in the canyon, it's very loud. How would you like a house built out of iron? Would that be a loud house or a soft house? Very loud and very cold and very uncomfortable. Go ahead, Jeremiah. So, Cole.
I have a comment.
Yes.
Once I was at a canyon and I threw a pebble down in the canyon and I heard it echo for so long.
Yep. It's kind of like when you throw the same effect. If you look at it, like Cole said, is a perfect example of how sound reflects. So if you can hear the sound waves and you can see the rippling of the water. Same thing, different sense. So if we toss the rock into the water, we hear the plunk of the water, but we don't hear the rippling effect. We don't hear the waves, we see the waves. So if you picture the rippling water, that is how sound waves are working. So like Cole threw the rock, can't see the sound waves, but you can hear them. So you get opposite effects on our senses. Jack.
I went to the Badlands and I also did what Cole did. And
You threw up.
Yeah, hold up.
And you can hear the echoing. That's right. That's the sound waves that you are hearing, friends. Yes, M.
I went to the Grand Canyon a couple of years ago and I yelled hey to the Grand Canyon and it echoed.
Yeah, the echo is fun. I'm trying to think of, there was a Disney movie about somebody making an echo and it was freaking the animal out. Oh, it's something brother. There was an animal that kept echoing. He was standing in a canyon and heard his echo and he was freaking out because he thought somebody was there, but there wasn't. It was himself. Big Brother, I think it was called, or something. I don't know. But it was really funny because the animal kept yelling and the echo would respond back, and then he was like freaking out because he couldn't see the person or the animal, but he could hear it. So it was his echo. All right, yes, Tyson.
Did you know on the bottom of the Grand Canyon there's a river?
Does anybody know the name of the river? Jonathan?
The
Colorado, the Colorado
Did you know
River.
there's two rivers? The big and the small.
I don't know. I know the Colorado River made the Grand Canyon. I don't know about the big and the little. It could be. I don't know.
Yeah. Two Colorado rivers. 1, 2.
Well, there's
Yeah.
only one Colorado River.
There's a tinier one that leads to the bigger one, I think.
Might be a smaller river leading. There's lots of rivers that go into,
Yeah.
like
I
there's
guess-
rivers that lead into the Mississippi. There are many rivers that go into the ocean. So all of the water goes different directions. All right. So any questions on reflecting, absorbing, sound waves? We learned a lot of different things today. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to gather our things up. If you have to take things home, get them together that you can put them in your backpack.